Jason is here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and this is Rob.
Sorry.
And this is Mike, our new chat co-host. Mike just thanks us we're doing a show because we're so lazy that the audience has now resorted to thanking us for actually waking up in the morning. No, thank you, Mike.
No, I'm up in the morning. We're just playing Fortnite.
Oh, okay, that's right.
See, that's what happens when Jason enables me. Hey, you should play Fortnite. Hey, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's not do this. Let's do the show from Fortnite so we can keep playing Fortnite. Like that was me.
Yeah. No, I wanted to. I was actually like about to make that the show a minute ago because the interface wasn't working for me this morning, and I was like, well, we literally might have to do the show on Fortnite. We came this close. I wasn't sure if we were gonna.
Some technical issues to work out with Fortnite. Like I got some overlays I want to work in and stuff. But you see the new graphics, which we coincidentally launched with yesterday's show, which was hilarious. I'm like, new direction, new show. Look,
New direction, new show.
Hey, if I could add us getting slimed anytime one of us says I don't know, I would. Like,
oh, there we go. I mean, we could just change the background to the slimed one. We got slimed.
Let me work on that. Let me work on adding.
We could put Tom in the helmet and have Tom go up and put his hand in the nose and pull out the flag. And when he pulls out the flag, that will say the topic. That'll be his only job. He needs to build a giant nose with like snot in it, and that's how we'll do it.
You don't want to talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up. When
when
Harloff got that Skydance or whatever Skybound money for the Schmodown, I was hoping rather than triple the amount of shows they were doing, which they didn't need to do, I just wanted them to add physical challenges. I thought that show needed, if you didn't know it, we could pick the nose for the flag or wear the helmet with the Sunday. Like that's what that show needed, not more shows. Like we don't need more shows. So whatever. No, I just wanted to see you have to climb the chocolate slide, Jason.
Oh, I've climbed the chocolate slide, buddy. I've climbed it.
You know, that would have been great.
Yeah. So yeah, this story I find a little bit strange. I read this article when I woke up today from the trades, and then we're gonna look at Bespin covering it, and hopefully Bespin pulled some more stuff. I don't know if he did. We talked briefly this morning. I invited him to the show. He said he's in a fight with Rob, and he won't come on the show until Rob apologizes. So I don't know what you did, but yeah, he told me to refresh it. He's always like, you gotta refresh it. You gotta refresh. And I don't know if that's the freshest one or not. By the way, so today I'm trying to make the featured image for the show, and I'm pulling these guys, and the height difference on these fools does not make it easy if you just want to be lazy and have them together in a picture and just remove the background, because they're like so far apart with like the free shit I use, you know, right. the little my little budget operation I got moving here. And but so I suggest the other one where it's like maybe some really sexy stiletto high heels whenever he does the red carpet with him. I think that would just solve all of my issues. Anyways, right here. Oh yeah, one last thing. If you're watching the show on Instagram, yesterday I don't think it cut us off. In fact, I think we just left the stream on. I think it just played for like another hour of just silence on Instagram, just like chilling. Yeah, I think that might have happened. You know, there wasn't anything being broadcast to it. Or
James
like
is just sitting there. I'm sticking through it to the end. They can't make me leave. Like I don't care. It's just silence. I'm the best fan.
Yeah, true. But so anyways, yeah, there's a couple of things about the story as they were talking about it that I found really kind of interesting. And also, so like the official story at the time was that Benioff and Weiss were leaving because they got bigger deals. Now that still might be true. That still might be what happened. But they say our idea was that we were going to, you know, essentially do this like First Jedi story, the one that Mangold's doing. Now, I think, I could be wrong, but I think this might be the third creator who has now talked about tackling that. I could be wrong. Yes, I think there's been 3. I think that
The Feige film is rumored to be the first Jedi initially.
no. Everybody just says that. Yeah, that they just said Ryan's was rumored. That everybody just says that.
Okay. That was before I was on the show with
And
you, so
hey,
you'll have to correct me on that. But
they
that was
actually
the
might have
buzz.
been, and they might
That
have
was
been,
the
Rob.
buzz.
You know what I mean, though? Like,
Because I remember Campy and Harloff and all them cats talking about it, but I couldn't tell you.
Campy. I mean, no disrespect to them, but they just guess stuff. They're just wrestling guys.
I
that are
know,
like,
but I'm just telling
I
you what
like
was
comic
said.
books. And then here's the thing. I know, but it's
was
never
like 2018, 2017. Around
but they aren't scoopers. Is the point I'm trying to make. They're just reading They're just reading my shit off of Star Wars Newsnet because they got a back end deal.
So then who would have been the other first Jedi one? Was it Taika? Was that the Gladiator thing?
I don't know. It was probably in the fucking article if we read it.
Ryan.
Okay.
Johansson.
Well, Ryan's was like rumored to be that, but I don't know. By the way, on Ryan's, somebody at Disney told me that it was supposed to be designed to scale younger, but that never happened. All right, back in February 2018, this is from bestmanbulletin.com. You can support Bestman on Patreon and Coffee. And if you want to become a channel member, it's the best way to support the show. It helps me know what the monthly income for the show is, so to speak. So it is the most like reliable way, unless you're one of those like subscribe.
And we have a pizza budget here, so you gotta
help. There's no pizza budget. Yesterday we had like 200 people on. No, not one super chat. Not one super chat. Not one super chat. You tight bitches.
This is where you and Roka would get along. Roka loves to berate his audience for not giving out super chat.
Yeah, I can't do it like that.
You just did it.
Not like that.
Bitches. Like you just were
no. I watched that show for 2 seconds yesterday, and then saw Jeff say that my shit, like basically I just made my shit up. So fuck you, Jeff. You don't know the story, and you're repeating it to the best of the best narrative you could come up with that makes you the champion. I'm the main character.
Yeah, it's a bullshit take by Jeff.
Yeah, it's a bullshit take, and it's fucking lazy because he's fucking lazy. But that's fine. I'm lazy too.
What? What'd you say?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'll play his ass in basketball. He'll see.
Just read text during the show, not pay attention.
No, but Roka is like, you only give me $1? Fuck you. Hey, if you give me $1, I'll suck all your dicks. All right, here we go. Into the story. Back in February 2018, it was announced by Lucasfilm that the duo behind HBO's Game of Thrones, David Benioff and DB Weiss, which both sound also like sex acts, but they're not. Hey, can I get a Benioff? Were set to helm a series of Star Wars movies. However, just a couple of short years later, the duo exited development on the project. Little was revealed about what the duo Star Wars films were going to center on, but now Weiss and Benioff have revealed that and why they exited the project. In February 2018, Benioff and Weiss were announced to be helming a Star Wars films for Lucasfilm, and those films were planned to be the next theatrical Star Wars releases following 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. The first film, which was planned for a 2022 release. During the time of the announcement, the duo were showrunning the biggest TV series in the world, Game of Thrones, which has skyrocketed in popularity, reaching mass critical acclaim, and the duo were gearing up for the release of the incredible and widely anticipated 8th and final season of the series, which bowed in 2019. Oh god, we're losing Bespin to trade talk. He's gonna be like, news from the House of Mouse next. Yeah, that's right. Most Star Wars fans were elated with the news at the time, believing the duo were the right guys to map out a series of Star Wars films given their success with Game of Thrones. Some fans soured on the idea of the duo helming those films once the 8th season of Game of Thrones released. By the way, I don't want to spend all day talking about this, but every fucking time somebody gets hired for Star Wars, they put something out that is not good, and then everybody's like, oh god, it's going to be the worst. It's it's like the stupidest analysis out there. You know what I mean? I mean, think of your favorite music artist. Do you like every fucking single that comes out every single time? How many artists do you like who released a bad single before the best single they ever made? It's just not how art happens. It's just fucking stupid. It's like, how do people's whole personality revolve around the fact that they're consumers of media, and then they're that stupid? Know yourself if that's your personality. Anyways,
my second favorite band made some bad singles. Queen. My first favorite band.
Queen never had a bad single, you son of a bitch. What? No, we can't. It's the Miracle or shut up. Thanks, Tom. You don't gotta give me anything, man. I appreciate it, dude.
There's only $2 anyway. Doesn't count.
Oh, only $2? Are you fucking kidding me right now, Thomas Harris? What the fuck? No, I'm kidding.
I like Rogo. It's a bad take, though.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, Jeff has the story wrong because he decided just to let the fucking chat tell him what happened. And he's like, oh, well, I want this to be my scoop. I could Google it, but I want it to be mine. So if I don't do that, then it's my scoop.
Time, dates, and facts don't matter to a journalist, Jeff.
Well,
he fancies himself a journalist. No.
Oh, no. He's not a
if
not
you
a journalist.
fancy yourself a fucking journalist, then times, dates, and facts actually are at the top. Scoops are down here. Like, it's just I'm gonna go out there and say, like,
Yep.
As a kid who grew up reading Superman, even I know this. Like
yeah. No, I mean, like I said, Jeff does good work. He's not wrong. I mean, but it was also kind of shitty when he took Bespin's scoop about that one guy from Andor and was like, oh, here's my scoop. And then, it's like, and then he did that then. And it's like, once again, it's like, there is a pattern of doing that shit. It's just like, it's fucking gatekeeping and it's stupid. For a guy who cries and bitches about being gatekept all the time, I think you actually deserve it at this point, considering, at least with the way that the trend's been going, oh, this gossip rag said it first. Oh, I read them. Oh, well, still mine. That's like, okay. Anyways,
it's very Cartman-like. I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, it's mine. Okay. Some fans believe that the duo were let go due to the reaction to the final season of Game of Thrones. Fucking dumb. Such a dumb fucking take. Though this was never reported, it just seemed to be an idea conjured up by some parts of the fandom. And others believe that they left after taking a lucrative $250 million deal on Netflix, which is literally what they said. I mean, that's literally that.
Which one? In the world of follow the money, which story sounds more likely to you, Jason?
Oh man,
they didn't like my last season, or we got $250 million.
But yeah, according to the duo, they exited the films as Lucasfilm no longer wanted to tell the story they wanted to, and the story they'd been working on for a number of years. The duo told Hollywood Reporter, "We had a very specific story idea in mind, and ultimately decided they didn't want to do that. And we totally get it. It's their company and it's their IP." And we weren't the droids they were looking for. So that's what they just said. Okay.
I do like this quote. I do like that's I like it. It's a little shade in there. Droid.
Well, just as a complete like side note, I remember around the time that they were still there, and around the time that they had maybe already left and we didn't know. They were either there or had left and we didn't know. And that's when I was hearing like they really want everything to move into this Yoda film. Like that was the direction that they wanted to go. I even know people I can't talk about who were spoken to about this, about what could they do? What do you think? What are your ideas and that kind of shit.
And all that Yoda stuff ended up making a baby Yoda essentially. Like,
well, all of that Yoda, but, all of that that Yoda stuff was put to bed when Baby Yoda became a phenomenon. Then it was like, oh, we don't need Yoda right now. We're good. I don't know for sure but that's sort of what seemed to happen. Baby Yoda came up and you didn't hear about Yoda anymore. Didn't need it. Had something that was a marketing hit. So, but what they say today kind of tells a little bit of a different story, or the way that they're framing it. And once again, this could just be like a red carpet fucking message that was sort of not misspoken, but not the whole story or something like that. But anyways, the duo told Deadline in October 2019 that they were stepping away as there wasn't enough hours in the day to work on their Star Wars films and develop projects for Netflix. So they regrettably walked away from Star Wars. The Hollywood Reporter shared that the duo were having second thoughts about continuing their Star Wars efforts due to a toxic fandom. something the duo were likely hyper aware of due to the backlash they received after Game of Thrones season 8 and saw their friend Ryan Johnson was treated by some Star Wars fans around the time of the release of The Last Jedi.
Hold on, this is funny to me because they ended up working on that Confederate projects, and there's nothing less toxic than fans of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
The irony.
Yeah. But I mean, on that one though, the size of the stage of what you'd be dealing
I
with
know, but
is
you
just so night and
understand
day.
my
Oh yeah. No, I understand. Yeah. It's like it's like, you know what? I don't want drama in my life. I just made a Twitter X account. It's like, well, you know,
shitter, Jason. So calling it
shitter. Yeah, shitter X. Come
if
on,
it's
shitter
Shaoxing
X.
wine, it's shitter now. Like
Shitter X, bud. All right. The THR article from 2019 mentioned that Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, that bitch, I'm kidding, was very unhappy with the duo inking the Netflix deal just as they were supposed to start working on their first Star Wars film. Total side note, I had this bass player who was the most annoying human in the world, and our impersonation of this person that we would do to his face because
Roger
he was so
Deakins?
annoying. No, was Eric Cartman.
Oh.
And this was like as South Park was coming up and as like the voice changed, it literally became that. We thought that was kind of funny because it was pretty fitting. All right. Kathleen Kennedy was reportedly not convinced that the duo could handle more than one project at a time, splitting their time between Star Wars and Netflix, as the duo refused to work on their Star Wars film during the production and release of their final season of Game of Thrones. See, I always heard this part right here a little bit different. That it was like, we got a good deal going. And it's a huge amount of money. And they were like, yeah, you can't do Star Wars. And they're like, yeah. They're like, well, we understand the amount of money on the table here. We understand what this deal is. And they're like, yeah. And then like that was, and it was amicable.
And it's like that JJ deal at Warner Bros. Where they don't have to make anything. They just get $250 million because nothing's come of this. Like,
well, those guys delivered on their projects to some degree, though, right? Unlike JJ, who is
who can name it? Who can name the project?
No, I don't follow them enough. So honestly, they could have made fucking Squid Game and I wouldn't know, man. So
they did.
All right. Despite past, I know, but you died in Squid Game, so you can't talk. You're dead.
The game sucks.
Despite past reports and even a statement from the duo in 2019, they're currently now saying that they exited the project as Lucasfilm no longer wanted to produce their idea. So what was the idea? The duo have revealed that their Star Wars films would have focused on the first ever Jedi and how the Jedi Order came to be. We wanted to do the first Jedi, basically how the Jedi Order came to be, why it came to be, the first lightsaber. So if that sounds familiar, it should. James Mangold of Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny was announced in April to be writing and directing a Dawn of the Jedi movie, which would follow the first ever Jedi. Imagine being Lucasfilm, though, with all of the people who've now like worked on it. Oh yeah, it was David S. Goyer, who worked on it too. Imagine though, like all these people have tried to pitch this to you. At some point, Lucasfilm has to be like, we just need to make this fucking story so people stop pitching it to us and leave us alone about doing it. But it is a very obvious
kind of like the
one.
evil Superman. I got an idea. Superman goes bad. This is gonna be great. Like, yeah, we've never heard that before.
But it was great when he flicked that bean at the bar.
And then Zack Snyder got to do it for God knows how many years. And look how that went. Look how that went.
Yeah. But thank God Rebel Moon came out to satiate our thirst for Star Wars. And if that sounds familiar, it should. James Mangold of Indiana Jones was doing it. Here it is. In addition, David S. Goyer revealed that Lucasfilm asked him a few years ago to develop a scriptment. I hate the word scriptment because I've heard it used by people that are faking stuff and don't know
they're
how it
just
works.
stealing it from James Cameron.
I hate it so much. Scriptment. For a film that focused on the origins of the Jedi. It seems as if Lucasfilm have wanted, or at least toyed with the idea of producing a Jedi origin movie for a many number of years. So that is the story. And like,
but I'll take David Goyer over Simon Kinberg any day of the week.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so yeah. I mean, but what we end up with, like, on this right here, is doesn't it sound like they kind of are saying like, oh no, they canceled us?
No. Yeah. Well, they're trying to say No, they're saying we couldn't do two things at once, so we weren't the ones they were looking for. As if, yeah, it's definitely not throwing themselves under the bus. Like in a like look at the way uh what's his face from Lost
Mm-hmm.
and brain farting, Lindelof. Like when
Lindelof.
Lindelof talks, it's very in a self-deprecating way.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like they didn't want to go in the way we wanted to do it,
Yeah.
direction. So yeah, they're kind of blaming it on Lucasfilm.
Well, like the article here, the article goes on and like it has it like lists their series with like Patty Jenkins and stuff. Like of
Right.
the canceled stuff. You know what I mean? It's like so like the way that that the trades are
But I
talking
don't
about here. Wait,
I don't think they could go out and say, "Hey, man, we got 250 million from Netflix, so we couldn't do Star Wars." Like, I don't think they can say that.
well, that's what
Like in
happened.
any.
Yeah, but
I
next was
know,
their
but
Star Wars
that's why
movies.
it's called
Fans,
PR. You can't
yeah,
say that.
Hollywood Reporter says next was their Star Wars movie. Fans were excited for the idea of the Thrones guys bringing their grounded fantasy dramatics to a galaxy far, far away. Yet the movie was shelved along with Star Wars projects from other top creatives. Like so that's obviously them. But he says we wanted to do the first Jedi. Benioff says basically how the Jedi came to be, why it came to be, and we were annoyed as hell that when Rian Johnson, the duo's longtime friend and producer, called his movie The Last Jedi, Weiss says dryly, we completely destroyed the obvious title for what we were working on. I don't understand that part. They're doing the first Jedi. Isn't the first Jedi the obvious title and not the Last Jedi? If you're doing the first Jedi, why would you call your movie The Last Jedi?
No, they're saying that because he called it the Last Jedi, you can't call it the First Jedi because it's too similar to the Last Jedi.
It would make the most. It would be great. That would have been fucking
Look,
great symmetry.
Look,
But
Jason, you're just bringing me back to an argument back in 2001 where fans said you can't call it the Clone Wars because it can't be Star Wars the Clone Wars. It had wars in the title twice. It has to have a clever name like Attack of the Clones. Like, no, you just call it the Clone Wars.
yeah,
No one
yeah.
cares. That's what they're going to call the fucking movie anyway. And now no one remembers that argument. But
Well,
believe me, that was the fan math and the fan like defense of George Lucas.
no, for yeah, the Star Wars fans thought that George Lucas had a secret like Illuminati code for Star Wars, and everything had to be according to this like fucking way and stuff like that. And
the Phantom Menace should have taught you that he didn't.
But well, what's funny about it though is that it's just marketing. Nobody gives a shit.
See, this hold on. This is what makes me interested in their quote. Cascadian says, Obi-Wan, these aren't the directors you're looking for. I think the droids bit. Now I'm reading into the tea leaves a little bit here, but they are directors, and if they wanted to be more like we weren't the directors they were looking for, I think they would have said that. The droids thing makes me wonder if they felt they were more like employees rather than creatives on the project. You understand what I mean? Like if you're in charge of something, like running a show.
I think it's just the lamest pun you could make.
Well, yeah, but I do like it. I don't know.
Well, ask what went wrong. Benioff says Lucasfilm ended up not wanting to do a first Jedi story. So the other thing about this though is we had so he says we wanted to do a first Jedi story. We had a very specific story in mind, and ultimately they decided they didn't want to do that, and we totally get it. It's their company and their IP. But we weren't the droids they were looking for. The overall concept still might happen. Last year, Lucasfilm announced a movie titled Dawn of the Jedi from director James Mangold. So in that right there, like, yeah, they said that they didn't want to do it. So the question I end up actually coming away from this with is, did they actually end up getting the order to move to pivot to Disney Plus by that point? And that was one of the reasons. Like, I wonder when that actually happened, because the way because there is a chance that they were like, we got these other things. Yeah, we're going to get to it when we get to it kind of scenario. Like, we're going to do our best to get to it when we can. And then they were just like, oh, we're not doing films for the next 3 years anyways. So bye. that could have, that might have also informed that decision as well, though. So there's a couple of things that are, big questions about when things happened to fully understand them, I think,
Right. Yeah. When they say they, it's, it's who's they?
Who's they?
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
We
not
don't
they were
know.
like, Kathy said no. So
Yeah. Kathy said no. But yeah, the ideas that, about why it broke down, I still think the thing that makes the most sense, regardless of this, is that deal that they were offered. It was a deal
yeah, it's
too good.
$250 million.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and
mean,
you
split that
can't
down the
split your
middle.
time.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're better off taking that money and then just hoping that it comes back around to you at some point, because it still could happen. That's like the other thing is people who've had like Star Wars films fall through, they may come back at some point and do something else with them. It's completely possible. Like Lindelof's attitude was
Not
good.
Ryan Johnson.
He's a why do you say that?
Huh? I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, what do you mean? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Um,
just trying to get you riled up.
yeah. No,
Why not? Why
I
won't he come back? Why? Okay, all right, okay. Come back, fine.
yeah, if I were like a successful filmmaker, though, I don't think I would bother with Star Wars
But that
personally.
actually is a point. Like, why? If you're out there making your own movies and your own shows and you're successful, why come back to all this trouble? Is basically it. Like when
Yeah.
we're talking about the video game side of thing, a year or two ago. 1 second, sorry, the fucking weather.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
The
no, that's like exactly it. It's like Ryan Johnson, why would he actually want to come back? And if that motherfucker did come back, I'd have to think he's really passionate about his idea. But I don't see
right.
why it would be worth it. But I also think that in 2017 we were all a little naive thinking that the monsters in the fandom, that they could, that we all love the same thing, therefore we would eventually like come around or see reason, you know what I mean, or whatever. But no, those people are the same monsters are being the same monsters. They just are monsters. It's always going to be that way, and you just have to be able to like ignore them and block them out.
Jason,
Mhm.
our audience doesn't pay much attention. Brittany asks, what Brittany asks, stop doing that, Jason. What was the movie supposed to be about? I mean, you said it twice. The first Jedi.
First Jedi,
The
Brittany.
first Jedi Order.
First Jedi.
The first lightsaber.
First lightsaber. First Jedi. He's like, hey, my name is Doug. I think it'd be cool if I had force powers. And then he was like,
No.
what?
The
I
first
got
Jedi's
it,
name's
bro.
gotta be George.
Do you think it was like zapped? Do you think he was like working in a lab and he discovers the force? He's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. He was working and he got zapped with the force and he can run really fast. That's why the Jedi can run fast.
Oh, was that the very first force power was the force run from the Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't
Hence
be
the
too
speed force. So shit,
bad. Yeah. All right. What's going on in the chat over here? Okay. Dell, he just got out of prison. 2med2, he's not in prison anymore. Thomas wants a refund. Nope, Tom, already spent the money, man. Sorry, dude. No,
yeah, he spent it on In-N-Out already.
Oh yeah. Barry says the cameos of Benioff and Weiss on Always Sunny need to be worked into the intro of MSW somehow. Yeah, and
Probably
then
get the show flagged.
Comic Binge. Paul asks, "Are you counting the Knights of the Old Republic script person?" No, that wasn't real. That was the. I mean, as far as I know, I don't believe that to be real. My memory is very fuzzy about it. I remember the story leaking through BuzzFeed, and then a friend at BuzzFeed informed me that there was like a 99% chance it wasn't real, and that it was somebody who it was the writer had pitched, and it was the agent telling BuzzFeed about it. It didn't happen, but they wanted to get that writer's name out there.
Well, they thought
So
Game of Thrones, medieval Star Wars, Knights of the Republic. Like, look,
yeah,
honestly, makes a lot of sense, but
yeah,
you'd need like 6 films to do that,
right,
not 3.
yeah. So Tom says, I think it would have been cool to see the first lightsaber be built. I like the idea behind the story. Well, the idea of like telling that story can be cool, but you know what I'd be afraid of is that it would be like all like ornamental and stuff. Whereas like
not if Tony Gilroy did it.
No, well, I don't think Tony Gilroy would do it. So it's like a
that's why he should do it.
No,
he doesn't want to do
it. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Tony Gilroy is good at Star Wars because he likes writing about rebellion and revolutions.
Thrust upon them, right?
No.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. No, I don't think so.
Yes.
So you're basically saying Tony Gilroy doesn't like revolution. He doesn't study it. He's not into it, and it's not his passion. The reason why Andor is good. Yeah, no, that's his passion, and that's why it's good. So the idea of let's give him the opposite of his passion.
Yes.
Is no, that's not going to work.
Yes, no, you're right, Jason. I agree with you. I like the cut of your jib. Smart logic,
dude. Like, yeah, Stephen Murphy's all except George is not coming back. He's 80 this year, dude. George Lucas is fucking old. I mean, he's so fucking old. And he's, I mean, he can't walk on his own. You know, if you just watch him, I mean, at least there's been times recently where he couldn't, and you could see it in the videos. It's not, you know, it's not a leak or something. It's not anything somebody told me. You could just see it. He's being guided around, and so yeah, I love George, but also, George is fucking done. When George sold it, he's like, I'm out. I don't want this anymore. And so like the idea that he was going to be involved was a marketing thing just to make Force Awakens PR stuff look good at the time. And, you know, and we know that that's what was happening. I mean, remember the guy who wrote the Making of Star Wars, Rinsler? Yeah, he quit and announced that he was not interested in being a part of Lucasfilm's PR team. He wanted to write about the history of Star Wars, not, you know, which, by the way, is also a fucking great endorsement for those 3 books he did. Because it says something about the power he felt he had to bring truth and what the real story is. And when you get to Return of the Jedi, it is there. The stuff he writes in that Making of Return of the Jedi, that would never happen under a Disney umbrella. They're smart enough to know that, to not let that happen. In terms, you know, I mean, it's good for us. It's great. It's great for history. But it's not great for.
Yeah, they're not gonna write how Doug Chang once threw a kegger. Right. And he's like, I want a keg of beer.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, I mean,
he was doing that all night.
You got like Carrie Fisher just going like, yeah, we don't like Richard Marquand. Like, we hated his fucking guts, basically.
And then John Knowles like, I want an Ian McKeg of beer. And everyone laughed.
Everybody said that was really inside baseball on that one.
Take him to Ryan Church, bitch.
Yeah. So Jonesy says Ahsoka season 2 opening scene leak. The Chimera lands on Dathomir. Thrawn and the Great Mothers leave the ship and sees Darth Maul pounding Kira. Wow, that really took a hard turn there, Jonesy. Welcome to Dathomir.
It's falling asleep. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking about it the other day about why I hate that Darth Maul. Like the story of Maul and Kenobi meeting in the desert, and Maul knows about Luke Skywalker. He's figured it out, and Maul has these ideas like, oh, that's my apprentice. When I make him my apprentice, I'm gonna rule everything. That's what he figures out. And Kenobi's like, nah, dude, it ain't gonna happen. They have this like very like fight. Maul's dead. Maul dies in Kenobi's arms. Kenobi's like, you know, he kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't say he comes to the light side at the end. I wouldn't say that, but you could tell there's like, I got played. I fucked up. There's kind of like that ending for him. And it's good though. It is a good, like in terms of the story itself, the execution is good too. But putting it in the animated, like it should have been in live action. It fucked up Kenobi, what they could do with Kenobi on TV, everything. Bad move on their part, letting that one happen, I think. That said, I was wondering about that. I was like, ooh, what if, you know, like think about like when they do this one-time resurrection thing. Like I'm hell bent on them bringing back Ventress because she is buried on Dathomir. But if they went and got Darth Maul's bones off Tatooine and they reburied that shit, they could bring his ass back again in a really, really weird way. It could. I don't think they will, but they could, because remember, the average Star Wars consumer hasn't seen Darth Maul really come back other than in that moment in Solo. And they're like, what the fuck was that? So they could be they could, the live action audience, they could probably stomach to have it happen again. I don't think they should do this, by the way.
Kenobi season 2, the mall tour, right? Just like Tiffany, right?
Just like Tiffany.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait.
Right. I think we're a clone now. Could be his first song.
I think I'm a clone now.
Yeah.
How about I think we're all old now? Whatever you want. But yeah, we can get Weird Al to actually be an official song now. That'd be great.
Seth says that he thinks the Origins of the Force could work like how the Origins of the Elements work in ATLA, where they learn to use it from animals like the Purgle. That's, I'll be honest. I don't love the idea of the first Jedi concept as it's been floated over the years and over time. By its very nature, it's derivative of the thing that you like. How often can you make something derivative and equal?
Well, it's also funny because the same fans who complain that they don't want to see any more origin superhero stories are now clamoring for the origin Jedi stories. So you figure that one out.
Yeah.
You're never going to get an origin that makes it all. It's going to go one of three ways. One, it's going to be like that plotty Lord of the Rings, and then the forge the sabers and the fires, which Santa will love, and that's dog shit. Yeah. Two, it'll be Harry Potter-esque, where it was one kid, had the thing with the Force, and no one believed him, but he made his own thing, and blah, blah, which, we've already seen. We don't care. Or three, it'll all happen by pure accident. And then everyone will be like, but it was what are you supposed or are they going to give him the Jesus motif was the first Jedi executed and everyone believed in it? Like, it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting if it's the first Force user of a particular culture or on a planet or something, right? Yeah. But when you say this is the first one ever, you're not, if you've read your Hero with 1,000 Faces, you're not going to get, what's the first myth ever? There is none.
Yeah, you would go to Genesis style or origins of everything kind of stories and how that goes. But I think that would probably fall too far into the fantasy side. Like, it's weird because Star Wars obviously isn't pure science fiction, but it very much relies on catering to the science fiction audience and must placate the science fiction audience.
Dune. So that's the science fiction it's rooted in. I mean, there's whole scenes from Dune throughout, even the prequels. So
right, but the thing is that nobody wants that. Dune is boring, and nobody wants that with Star Wars. They want faster, more intense.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, I read the book. It's boring. I mean, I find the book to be boring because it's like fake anthropology. Interesting. The guy had a lot of fun writing it, I could tell, but also I would rather just personally read real anthropology, rather read about real cultures than fake made up ones where I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, but anyways, yeah. So I'm a bit, about it. And I was thinking about what we were talking about yesterday about that Rey film. If it even happens, who knows? I mean, when something gets further away, it becomes less likely to happen. I will concede that. I do think it will happen. I have more faith in that one happening than any of the other things that we know are on the docket, from Lando to the first Jedi movie, stuff like that. But I started thinking though, if you have 15 years, what if the Jedi? What if in that time they're like, nah, you can't be a Jedi? What if they don't allow it? What if it goes what if the galaxy goes the opposite way? What if they're putting little force users in jail? What if they're imprisoning them because they are a threat to literally? Right. You can make the argument they're a threat to democracy, and you know what I mean. And
well, that makes for the good. That makes for good conflict, Jason.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the problem. Anytime we talk about what a new movie series could be, the first place I go to, and I believe you've gone to as well, is, well, where's the conflict? Who's the antagonist, right? And so we all agree at this point, given the sequel trilogy, inventing another empire is probably the bad idea. Like,
Oh,
I get it, they keep
when
coming back, but the fans aren't gonna get that.
Filoni's doing it right now. You can't do it. You can't do it another one right now. There can be no more.
Right. So just banning them outright, the way that samurai were banned during a certain period, I can't remember which one it is,
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense, and then gives you the whole you need them, but they're not also respect. It's the kind of X-Men rule, right? Like they're feared, they're misread and feared, but they also rightly so, because one of them could be a Magneto who could kill us all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely, I think if you're going to move into an uncharted future era of Star Wars, that's the place to tell the story. The
Yeah.
Republic doesn't accept them, the public doesn't accept them, but they're needed. They need to be skywalkers, which is what I was saying, like Ronin. They need to walk the skies going where the Force leads them to help,
Yeah.
where they are needed. And that, to me, when you talk about a premise playground, a place in which, if generally when you come up with a comic book series or a comic strip series that's going to exist for indefinitely, you need a little story engine, some premise that's going to constantly give you new ideas. To me, that's it. That's the basic conceit you can have moving forward.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to do that until 2 years from now, when they just follow my fucking lead anyway and get on with it. Like, we all can just stop wasting our fucking time with the
Right.
obvious. But sure.
Yeah. Well, it. When you think about like how vocal was Rey after Episode 9, because if something like that happened where they weren't allowed to exist, and if it was sort of like policy,
that is why Bloodline is so important, though.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm saying. You can't. You see, you're interrupting me to steal my point because it's your point, because we have the same point, because we have the same.
Okay.
No. I'm saying when she has a big mouth and she comes back and she says, "Yeah, I'm Palpatine's clone granddaughter. Oh, and all the Jedi are inside me." They're gonna be like,
it's 50 different personalities.
We hate everything about you. And did you send Jason Ward pictures of yourself in a scantily clad Rey outfit because that's what you wear? Oh, did he ask? No, we'll cancel him.
Jason, don't tell them my kinks. Don't tell them what I do.
Right. No, but right. That's what you're gonna say, right? Like she says she's a Palpatine. You got the bloodline concept.
Well, I was gonna say the bit in Bloodline should have already set that up, where they find out Luke and Leia's father was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Now that we don't have that cinematically, that took place in a fucking book, the next best thing,
Ryan's idea, I think. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Should have been in his movie, is her being Palpatine, because who could trust if the Jedi, you could tie them together. You can go, hey, not only is she Palpatine, but the guy who trained her, they're Darth Vader's kids. And so these Jedi, you can't trust, some clever politician, right, who's manipulating to, get these cats out the way so I can just, shenanigans my way into the government, could easily manipulate that situation.
Yeah.
So, no, man, I'm totally all for it. I think it's the obvious, simple answer, and all the pieces of the chess pieces on the board, they're already there. Mm-hmm. They just have to, I think, look, I don't know what they're thinking, so when I say I think, given what I've seen them do, right? My problem is when I see them go into this Filoni Lucas lore stuff as their path forward. And I'm like, I don't see that resonating with mass audiences. Like, I just don't. I don't see, hey, look, there's a statue of a giant guy holding out his hand. He's his son, the father. That doesn't mean anything to anyone unless you somehow make that the story. But that isn't it. These things we have seen where they're bringing in bigger elements,
Well, it depends on what. No, that's where what you saw with that thing. What you saw with that thing was talking to you. It was talking to the people who watch the cartoons for sure. But that's going to be an emerging thing that will be explained on screen. They're not going to go watch the cartoon.
They're going to have to do it within the 6th episode. They just keep moving, punting the ball down the court. We'll get to it someday. People aren't ready for someday. They want now. They're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Oh,
so like,
no, I'm with you on that, like storytelling that milk every corner of every single thing before you get to the good stuff, if you will, because well, yeah, the good stuff is the good stuff, but let's like make sure we get it. Like that's what I think worked Marvel out really hard and made Marvel like burn out the way that it did, because like every single thing was about
Disney
like
Plus.
Bespin, you know, mentions to me one time. He's like, yeah, instead of just like going right to like Daredevil, they started with Echo. But everybody just wants Daredevil. You know what I mean? Like that's
well,
if we're just talking
yeah,
about what the
look, it's a
consumer
different
wants.
conversation. But
Well, no,
look,
it does
what
pertain
I
though.
think
It's
what
what
agrees, right? But what I think I agree with you is
Mhm.
after you do a big cosmic story like
Mhm.
Endgame, you got time travel, you got cosmic dudes, you got all this stuff. You don't then say now we're going to do more cosmic stuff now that fans know that. You don't. That's not what
No,
you do.
no, of
You
course.
pull back and say now we're going to tell boots on the ground, city street level stuff, the complete opposite. We're going to make the small thing big and let the big thing become small. We're
Okay.
going to, that's, and so you do Daredevil, you do Blade, you do all the boots on the ground type characters, you know, the city level street characters. If you're going to do Miss Marvel, it's only within the confines of Jersey on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You don't then go, look at it, she got the 10 rings and she's in the multiverse. Like, no, that's not the way to go. So same with like Star Wars, if you're going to say, oh, we got these chosen ones and these big galactic emperors, the real meat and potatoes is like, hey, what are the effects of Palpatine's granddaughter running around as the savior of us all? You know,
Yeah.
it's a real problem.
If I lived in
know?
that galaxy, I would never trust. I would never trust. You know, it's like so. Palpatine took you here, and he said like you're his heir, and that you're going to inherit everything about that him. So, and then you're here. Did you win? Did it work? Is that what you are now? Because she could be a fugitive. If you think about it from that perspective.
If you don't, again, we've seen Jedi, Return of the Jedi. We've seen Rise of Skywalker. The people in that universe have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all you know is you go, okay, 3 people went in the door. You know, Kylo Ren goes in that door, Rey Skywalker goes in that door, and Palpatine walks. And the only person who comes out is Rey. You know what I mean? And to be fair, you know, she's not exactly a personable, like,
mm-hmm.
you know, she's not Finn or Poe. She's not hanging out the bar. Let's chum around. She's burying, she's digging up lightsabers and stuff. Like, you know,
weird, like, dude. She's a weird chick, man.
Children to her cause and shit. Like,
fucking, I heard she kidnapped. She kidnapped that kid that used to sweep out in front of the store. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah, she groomed a broom kid. I didn't, you know, like, let's not go there. But
Dave Mickey says, "Oh my God, Night Sisters will bring back Maul, Mace Windu, Padme, the cast of Rogue One, basically every dead character." Yeah,
you want to hear the shit take going on fucking threads right now about that? I get the sentiment.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that they would only bring back people who have a connection to them, which would be Maul and Ventress. Anybody else would obviously be crazy.
I know he's being hyperbolic.
Yeah, he's joking.
The big dumb take right now from well-intentioned fans is, hey, look, they finally put a Latino character, an Asian character in Rogue One, but then they killed him. And I'm like, everyone died. And that's there was a version where they all lived, and you would have been like, Disney doesn't take any chances. They should have all died. Like, this is the story demanded they died. Their sacrifice would have been, but they could just see, hey, the person of color, you know, fucking didn't live. The white people didn't. No one
lived. That beautiful white woman, she did not live.
She got nuked. She was holding the Latino guy. What are we doing here? Like, I ask fans, when you go down this path of nihilism, what do you expect to come from it? Right? More representation or less? I'm just curious.
All I know is all of you are going to die shitting your pants in a hospital bed alone. He got people
who are current editors of comic book companies that aren't doing the best for representation as it stands now. So I'm like, do I pick a fight with someone who could give Rob a job right now, or don't I? But I do, Jason. I've already killed myself from ever working at Lucasfilm. We can all agree. This show has probably done more damage to my career than I'd like to admit. But
to be fair, you probably would be there for 5 minutes and then quit because it sucks.
No, you
would stay.
But
you would stay.
Sadly, I'm one of those guys. But I would just bitch to you all fucking time. Complain exactly.
And that's how the leaks happen.
I'm a blue collar guy, Jason. I'm like, it's a job. You got to work, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that all being said, you know, those characters were my two favorite characters in Rogue One. And if we were to do a series of stories on them, I'd be all for it. I think that's where the Disney Plus could grow and thrive in that area. But we don't live in that world right now. We're living in the world where everyone wants to hear about fucking Rick and Mortis theories and the funds and the sons and the fathers and all this nonsense.
Well, do we though? Do we? Because I mean, because you're both in the same show saying nobody knows about that, nobody cares, and then you're saying that's all anybody cares about.
No, I'm saying that's what I care about. I'd say no one gives a shit about this, though, because the ratings prove it's not there, man.
The ratings were fine for Ahsoka.
No, they were horrible.
No, they were not horrible.
No, the worst shows ever.
Yeah, no, it was.
I saw the numbers.
No, they
my research.
No, yeah, I know that's my thing is Star Wars fans are saying it's fucking great, guys. It did so good, and then the haters are like, oh, it fucking did horrible. It failed. You know what? It did okay. That's all it did. It just did okay. You know, it wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't bad. It didn't exceed expectations. It just delivered expectations on the numbers front.
I just think Disney Plus should be where we're doing animation, and you get one live action series for any property. And
nobody watches the animation there.
It's a shame.
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, like it's never.
Best stuff they got. It's the best stuff they got.
You heard it here. Rob loves Bad Batch. Royal Fino says the problem is Mangold's going to condense all the landmark moments into one person's lifetime, and people are going to get mad it's not spread over 10,000 years. Yeah, that's kind of like whenever I think of the concept of the First Jedi about almost whoever does it, I almost have to think that it like you'd almost have to take it into the witch place, right? Like people have access to this to this misunderstood thing, and it leads to bad stuff. You're told not to use it. Blah 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 blah. Conflict arises, and then eventually,
Devil's Telephone.
Yeah, the Devil's Telephone. That's our movie, and no, and then eventually
Jeff Snyder on his Tuesday show.
Yeah, and then eventually they have to tap into that to save the day, and then it begins to be like, oh, and then I would imagine from there you would end up funneling that into we need to start an order for these people, because also if you do think about it, if you did have people who were tapping into this mystical power that unites everything, you're gonna have people that go evil. You're gonna have pirates who get it. You know, Lucas used to have this idea called the Legions of Latau, and they were basically the original Sith Lords, and they were on a pirate ship, and they were just raiders who went through using the dark side, stealing everything, and just boozing, being cool.
To be fair, he was dating Linda Ronstadt at the time, and she was
no, that was that she was a good 15 years later. 15 years later. That's just why that's why he saw her, and I was like, that's my kind of chick. Because this was about 1972, I think, 74 ish. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing when it comes to this stuff.
That's when I pitched it to her. I pitched it to her in 1972, Jason. That's you know. Best spins
in the Jewish tunnels.
No.
He's in the Jewish tunnels. Kanye sent them. He's like, go check it out. Report back to me. Mel Brooks does History of the Jedi Part 1. Yes, I would definitely watch that. Oh, hey, thanks for the super chat, Mike. I appreciate that a lot. He says, is Filoni still directing a movie? Yes, Filoni is still directing the second movie. So the Favreau movie is going to connect to the Filoni movie, and my source on the whole thing is like, yeah, they're probably going to end up making a third one too. But so it's likely that this could end up being like a Mando trilogy of sorts. But I at this point, I think it's going to really be dependent on the first movie. What that first movie does will inform if they tell a story that allows for a third film, because from everything that I understand is that that's where those guys are going. Like they're wanting it. They're being like, oh guys, don't worry. He's developing Ahsoka too. And he is, but once again, of course he was Filoni developing Ahsoka 2 is just Filoni taking a shit, writing notes on his phone. That's all that it takes. It's in development, guys. A greenlit Ahsoka 2 is such a different scenario. You know what I mean? It's
I'm developing, Jason. Hold on.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you just had another idea. You just popped it out.
Yeah.
Look, when you eat that much in and out, you still gotta work. Still gotta work.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it last night, and I'm like, if that first movie is Mandalorian and Grogu, if that's what it's called, it's kind of unclear if that was the title. I kind of felt like that was the really lame title of it.
That's the really lame title of it. Yes.
Yeah.
No, Jason, they're just going right out and calling it what. So everyone fucking, because I told you they think, and rightly so, that people are fucking morons. So they gotta call it what it is. I don't agree with this.
When you treat people like morons, then they in turn just behave like them.
Correct.
Yeah, they just go, what the fuck?
Heir to the Mandalorian. I told you that's the easiest one, because you could show Grogu, you could show him, and you can see he's the heir to the Mandalorian. It all fucking whatever. Yeah.
What if it was called 3 Men and a Baby? And it was
but they'll be like, is it pronounced
Grogu?
Heir to the Mandalorian? Because I don't know how to say heir, because I'm a fucking dumb American.
It's a homage.
Yeah,
so anyways,
don't even get me started, man. I grew up with Image Comics, and Jim Lee called a studio Homage Comics, and it was homage. It's homage. You're like, homage. Right, it's homage. It's not homage. It's homage. It's homage. So much. Hey. I was like, look, man. What? Who gives a shit? Called a Wildstorm. He had to figure it out quickly. He changed it to Wildstorm. He's like, we're not doing it.
Rob, your complexion looks good today. No homage, bro. All right, I tried. Yeah, shut up. Punsaus just told you to shut up. I don't even know why at this point.
You don't know me. What? You don't know me.
Yeah. Bestman
I want them to call it Power of the Force, and I want they to bring back that song, You Got the Power. You got the power, right? And then Grogu's doing the dance.
You're talking about You Got the Touch from Transformers?
I got the power. You remember that song?
You remember I got the power?
It's good. Yeah. It's getting kind of heavy. You don't remember that?
So Bestman says Jason Ye was misinformed. There's just some barbarian film looking motherfuckers down here. It's Jover.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we've done an hour, Jason.
We have. All right. Yeah. That was the news du jour. Thank you to Tom and Mike for today's super chats. Means a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
We will be back tomorrow talking about whatever the news happens to be. You never know what's going to happen. I on a little side note,
Fortnite tomorrow.
I'm looking into it, but there's apparently something else coming. Yeah. Something else is coming. I don't know what it is though yet. But no one will go off the record to give me the details. I need more breadcrumbs, which is why I'm saying it on the show. I need some more breadcrumbs, because if I ask the right question to the right person, I'll get the answer. But playing the game as it is right now, I can't. So, but yeah, there is something else, guys.
Elusive.
Yes. So anyways, and no, it's not it's not a trailer or something like that. It's something big. But anyways, we'll be back tomorrow. That's why I'm gonna plan on that coming sometime soon, whether it's officially or whatever. So goodbye, be cool, stay in school, and yeah, I'll probably be back tomorrow about the same time, unless something happens today. I don't know. Don't get too excited. This might not amount to anything. So, but I know I know two sources are watching the show right now, and just tell me. Come on, somebody's gonna tell me. Just tell me.
I'll tell you. I can make it up.
Yeah, what is it?
Huh?
What is it?
Oh, it's a John Knowles series. It's all about the life of John Knowles. Yeah. It's full Knowles. Full Knoll House. right?
Oh, actually, yeah, it's been renamed. It's now called Nullified, and it's like he's just drinking Mountain Dew and doing extreme sports with visual
Perfect
effects.
Ulsters? No. No.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a sitcom. Push and Null. Nah, that doesn't
Filoni
work.
Matters, and it's all about Filoni's house. And it's all he plays all the people, right?
Yeah.
Filoni plays all. Yeah, I like that.
Did I Filoni that? That's his
Yeah, and when he writes a
catchphrase.
script, he goes, "Did I write that?
Did I write that? No,
Yeah,
George
I can't
Lucas
wait.
did, Dave. George Lucas wrote it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow.